Animals that are symbols of the Republic of Cyprus nation is the Cypriot Mouflon, Ovis Orientalis Ophion. The Mediterranean island of Cyprus, strategically positioned at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, has long been celebrated for its rich cultural heritage, ancient history, and diverse ecosystems. Among the many natural treasures that define this remarkable nation, one species stands out as a quintessential symbol of Cypriot identity: the Cypriot Mouflon, scientifically known as Ovis Orientalis Ophion. This magnificent wild sheep has transcended its biological significance to become an emblem of national pride, representing the untamed spirit of Cyprus and its enduring connection to the natural world. The Cypriot Mouflon is not merely an animal that happens to inhabit the island. It is an endemic subspecies that exists nowhere else on Earth. This extraordinary distinction places it at the heart of Cyprus's natural heritage, making it a living testament to the island's unique evolutionary history. As the official national animal of the Republic of Cyprus, the mouflon appears on the country's coat of arms, currency, and official documents, serving as a powerful reminder of the nation's commitment to preserving its indigenous wildlife and natural landscapes. Physical characteristics and distinctive features. The Cypriot Mouflon is a medium-sized wild sheep that exhibits remarkable sexual dimorphism, with males and females displaying distinctly different characteristics. Adult males, known as rams, are considerably larger than their female counterparts, typically weigh between 25 to 40 kilograms and standing approximately 65 to 75 centimeters at the shoulder. These impressive animals are distinguished by their magnificent curved horns, which can grow to lengths of up to 65 centimeters and form graceful spirals that curve backward over their heads. The ram's horns are not merely decorative features. They serve as both weapons and status symbols within the social hierarchy of mouflon society. During the breeding season, males engage in spectacular horn-clashing contests to establish dominance and win the right to mate. These dramatic confrontations involve the animals rearing up on their hind legs and crashing their horns together with tremendous force, creating sounds that can be heard across the mountainous terrain they inhabit. Female mouflons, called ewes, are considerably smaller than males, typically weighing between 20 to 25 kilograms. Unlike their male counterparts, ewes either lack horns entirely or possess only small, slightly curved horn stubs. This difference in horn development is one of the most striking examples of sexual dimorphism in the species, and reflects the different roles that males and females play in mouflon society. The coat of the Cypriot Mouflon varies significantly between seasons and sexes. During summer months, both males and females display a relatively short, reddish-brown coat that provides excellent camouflage against the sun-baked rocks and dried vegetation of their mountain habitat. As winter approaches, their fur becomes denser and darker, often taking on a grayish-brown hue that helps them blend into the shadowy crevices and evergreen vegetation of their elevated homes. Males develop particularly striking winter coats, often featuring a distinctive white saddle patch across their backs and white markings on their legs and faces. This dramatic coloration serves multiple purposes, including thermoregulation and visual communication within the herd. The contrast between the dark body and white markings may also help individuals recognize one another across the rocky terrain where they live. Habitat and distribution. The Cypriot Mouflon has adapted to thrive in some of the most challenging terrain on the island. These remarkable animals primarily inhabit the rugged mountainous regions of the Troodos Mountains and the Kyrenia Range, where they have evolved to navigate steep rocky slopes, dense forests, and scrubland with remarkable agility. Their preferred habitat consists of mixed pine and oak forests interspersed with open clearings, rocky outcrops, and areas of Mediterranean maquis vegetation. The elevation range favored by these animals typically extends from approximately 500 to 1,500 meters above sea level, though they have been observed at both higher and lower altitudes depending on seasonal conditions and food availability. This vertical distribution allows them to take advantage of different microclimates and vegetation zones throughout the year, moving to higher elevations during hot summer months and descending to lower, more sheltered areas during harsh winter weather. The terrain inhabited by Cypriot mouflons is characterized by steep slopes, deep ravines, and rocky escarpments that would challenge even the most experienced human hikers. However, these animals have evolved extraordinary climbing abilities that allow them to navigate this treacherous landscape with apparent ease. Their hooves are specially adapted for gripping rocky surfaces, featuring hard outer edges and softer central pads that provide both stability and sensitivity when traversing narrow ledges and loose scree slopes. Water sources play a crucial role in determining mouflon distribution patterns. These animals require regular access to fresh water, particularly during the dry Mediterranean summers when temperatures can exceed 40 degrees Celsius. Natural springs, seasonal streams, and artificial water sources installed by wildlife managers all contribute to supporting mouflon populations in various parts of their range. The fragmented nature of suitable habitat has led to the development of several distinct populations across the island, each adapted to the specific conditions of their local environment. These populations maintain genetic connectivity through occasional migrations and dispersal events, though human activities and habitat fragmentation have increasingly isolated some groups from others. Behavioral patterns and social structure. Cypriot Mouflons exhibit complex social behaviors that have evolved to help them survive in their challenging mountain environment. For most of the year, males and females live in separate groups, coming together only during the autumn breeding season. This sexual segregation allows each group to optimize their feeding strategies and reduce competition for resources during critical periods. Female groups, consisting of ewes and their young offspring, typically range in size from 8 to 15 individuals, though larger aggregations of up to 30 animals have been observed during favorable feeding conditions. These maternal groups are led by experienced older females who possess intimate knowledge of feeding areas, water sources, escape routes, and seasonal movement patterns. The social bonds within female groups are strong and enduring, with mothers, daughters, and sisters often remaining together for multiple years. Young mouflons remain with their mothers for their first year of life, learning essential survival skills, including foraging techniques, predator recognition, and navigation through complex terrain. This extended learning period is crucial for their development, as a harsh mountain environment requires extensive knowledge and experience to navigate successfully. Male mouflons lead more solitary lives outside of the breeding season, though they may form loose bachelor groups of 3 to 8 individuals. These male associations are generally less stable than female groups and are characterized by complex dominance hierarchies based on age, size, and horn development. Older, larger males with impressive horns typically achieve higher status within these groups and enjoy priority access to the best feeding sites and shelter locations. During the breeding season, which typically occurs from October to December, the social dynamics of mouflon populations undergo dramatic changes. Males abandon their bachelor groups and begin competing intensely for access to female groups. This competition involves elaborate displays of dominance, including horn clashing, parallel walking, and scent marking behaviors that can be observed throughout their habitat. The mouflon's daily activity patterns are influenced by both environmental conditions and predator avoidance strategies. These animals are most active during the cooler hours of dawn and dusk, when temperatures are moderate and visibility conditions favor their natural camouflage. During the heat of midday, they typically seek shelter in shaded areas among rocks or dense vegetation, where they rest and ruminate. Diet and feeding ecology. As herbivorous ruminants, Cypriot mouflons have evolved sophisticated feeding strategies that allow them to extract maximum nutrition from the often sparse and seasonally variable vegetation of their mountain habitat. Their diet consists primarily of grasses, herbs, shrubs, and tree foliage, with a specific composition varying dramatically according to seasonal availability and local habitat conditions. During spring months, when new growth is abundant, mouflons feed heavily on fresh grasses and herbaceous plants that emerge following winter rains. This period of nutritional abundance is crucial for females, as it coincides with late pregnancy and early lactation, when energy demands are at their highest. The high protein and moisture content of spring vegetation helps support both field development and milk production. Summer brings significant challenges as Mediterranean vegetation becomes increasingly dry and nutritionally poor. During this period, mouflons must travel greater distances to find suitable forage, often focusing on plants that remain green in shaded or moist locations. They also increase their consumption of browse, feeding on the leaves, twigs, and bark of woody plants including oak, pine, juniper, and various Mediterranean shrubs. The animal's feeding behavior demonstrates remarkable adaptability to seasonal changes. During dry periods, They become more selective in their foraging, targeting plants and plant parts with higher moisture and nutrient content. They have been observed to dig for roots and bulbs during extreme drought conditions and feed on fruits and nuts when available. Winter feeding strategies focus on surviving harsh weather conditions while maintaining body condition for the upcoming breeding season and, for pregnant females, supporting fetal development. During this period, mouflons rely heavily on woody browse, evergreen vegetation, and any remaining dry grasses they can access despite snow cover. The ruminant digestive system of mouflons allows them to extract maximum nutrition from fibrous plant material through a complex process of fermentation and rechewing. This adaptation is particularly important given the often poor quality of available forage in their mountain habitat, where growing seasons are short and environmental conditions can be harsh. Conservation status and threats. The conservation story of the Cypriot Mouflon represents both one of wildlife management's greatest success stories and an ongoing challenge that requires continuous attention and resources. In the early 20th century, the species faced near extinction due to a combination of hunting pressure, habitat loss, and competition with domestic livestock. Historical records suggest that by the 1930s, fewer than 15 individuals remained in the wild, making the Cypriot Mouflon one of the world's most endangered large mammals. The recognition of this critical situation led to the establishment of comprehensive conservation measures that have gradually rebuilt the population over the past 80 years. Today, the total wild population is estimated to number between 2,500 and 3,000 individuals, representing a remarkable recovery from the brink of extinction. However, this success story comes with important caveats, as the species remains vulnerable to various threats and challenges. Habitat fragmentation represents one of the most significant ongoing threats to mouflon populations. Urban development, agricultural expansion, road construction, and tourism infrastructure have all contributed to the division of formerly continuous habitat into smaller, isolated patches. This fragmentation reduces the carrying capacity of available habitat and limits the ability of different populations to maintain genetic connectivity through natural migration patterns. Climate change poses an increasingly serious threat to Cypriot mouflons, as rising temperatures and changing precipitation patterns alter the vegetation communities on which they depend. Extended drought periods, more frequent wildfires, and shifts in plant species composition all have the potential to significantly impact mouflon habitat quality and carrying capacity. Human disturbance, while generally less severe than in previous decades, continues to affect mouflon populations in various ways. Hiking, mountain biking, hunting of other species, and general recreational activities in mountain areas can disrupt feeding patterns, increase stress levels, and force animals to expend additional energy avoiding human contact. Domestic dogs represent a particular concern, as they can harass, injure, or kill mouflons, particularly young animals. Free-ranging or inadequately controlled dogs from nearby villages and settlements pose an ongoing threat that requires active management and community education efforts. Disease transmission from domestic livestock remains a potential threat, though strict quarantine and health monitoring protocols have been established to minimize this risk. The relatively small population size of the species makes it particularly vulnerable to disease outbreaks that could have devastating effects on overall numbers. Cultural significance and national identity. The cultural importance of the Cypriot mouflon extends far beyond its biological significance, deeply intertwining with concepts of national identity, cultural heritage, and environmental stewardship. As a national animal of Cyprus, the mouflon serves as a powerful symbol that connects the modern republic to its ancient natural heritage and represents the resilience and adaptability that characterizes both the species and the Cypriot people. Archaeological evidence suggests that mouflons have inhabited Cyprus for thousands of years, with fossil remains and ancient artwork indicating their presence during various historical periods. Ancient Cypriot civilizations recognized the importance of these animals, incorporating their images into pottery, mosaics, and other cultural artifacts that have survived to the present day. The adoption of the mouflon as a national symbol reflects Cyprus's commitment to environmental conservation and recognition of the intrinsic value of its unique biodiversity. The presence of the mouflon on official government documents, currency, and national emblems serves as a constant reminder of the country's responsibility to protect and preserve its natural heritage for future generations. Educational programs throughout Cyprus use the mouflon as a flagship species to teach children and adults about conservation, biodiversity, and the importance of protecting endangered species. School curricula, nature education centers, and public awareness campaigns all feature the mouflon prominently, helping to build a culture of environmental stewardship among Cypriot citizens. The economic value of mouflon conservation extends beyond direct conservation spending to include ecotourism revenue, research funding, and international recognition that enhances Cyprus's reputation as a leader in wildlife conservation. Nature-based tourism centered around mouflon viewing has become an increasingly important component of the island's tourism industry, providing economic incentives for continued conservation efforts. Future prospects and conservation challenges. Looking toward the future, the conservation of the Cypriot mouflon faces both opportunities and challenges that will require innovative approaches and sustained commitment from government agencies, conservation organizations, and the general public. Climate change adaptation strategies must be developed to help mouflon populations cope with changing environmental conditions, potentially including habitat management techniques that increase resilience to drought and temperature extremes. Genetic management has become increasingly important as populations remain relatively small and somewhat isolated from one another. Conservation geneticists are working to assess the genetic diversity within and between different mouflon populations, developing strategies to maintain healthy genetic variation while avoiding the negative effects of inbreeding. Habitat restoration and expansion projects offer promising opportunities to increase carrying capacity and improve connectivity between existing populations. These efforts include reforestation programs, invasive species control, water source development, and the creation of wildlife corridors that allow animals to move safely between different areas. International cooperation and knowledge sharing with other countries that host wild sheep populations provide opportunities to learn from successful conservation strategies and avoid repeating past mistakes. Research collaborations and technical exchanges help improve understanding of mouflon ecology and conservation needs. The integration of modern technology, including GPS collaring, camera trapping, genetic analysis, and drone surveillance, offers new tools for monitoring populations and understanding their ecological requirements. These technological advances help conservation managers make more informed decisions and respond more quickly to emerging threats. Community engagement remains crucial for long-term conservation success. Programs that involve local residents in monitoring activities, habitat restoration projects, and conservation decision-making help build local support for mouflon conservation while providing economic opportunities in rural areas. Conclusion: the Cypriot mouflon stands as a remarkable testament to both the fragility and resilience of island ecosystems. This endemic subspecies has survived near extinction to become not only a conservation success story, but also a powerful symbol of national identity and environmental stewardship. Its recovery from fewer than 15 individuals to several thousand represents one of the most dramatic wildlife conservation achievements in the Mediterranean region. However, the future of the Cypriot mouflon remains dependent on continued conservation efforts, adequate funding, and the ongoing commitment of the Cypriot people to protect their natural heritage. The challenges posed by climate change, habitat fragmentation, and human development require innovative solutions and adaptive management strategies that balance conservation needs with economic development. As Cyprus continues to evolve as a modern European nation, the mouflon serves as a bridge between past and future, connecting contemporary Cypriots to their natural heritage, while inspiring ongoing efforts to protect and preserve the island's unique biodiversity. The success of mouflon conservation demonstrates that with sufficient dedication, scientific knowledge, and community support, even the most endangered species can be brought back from the brink of extinction. The story of the Cypriot mouflon ultimately reflects larger themes about humanity's relationship with the natural world, the importance of biodiversity conservation, and the possibility of achieving sustainable coexistence between human development and wildlife protection. As this magnificent species continues to thrive in the mountains of Cyprus, it serves as both a symbol of what can be achieved through dedicated conservation efforts and a reminder of our ongoing responsibility to protect the natural world for future generations.